Diamond channel, welcome. Right, today I'm going to try something I haven't done before. It's aluminium welding. I've got an idea for an artwork, yeah, and I needed some big gauge square tube, so silver or any kind of precious metals out of question, it'd be too expensive. So I found square aluminium tube in a hardware store. I thought, fine, I'll just get this and I'll learn about the welding. So I was under the impression it's kind of a specialist skill, but I looked on YouTube, there's quite a few people doing it, it looks easy. So anyway, I've got everything I need. I'll just try it and I'll learn everything I need to know, like all the melting temperatures, how it reacts under heat, if it's like clean or dirty metal. I'll just learn everything just from trying it. So I will get into it as soon as I said thank you to these new patrons. We've got Dylan Cartier, Lars S, and Lynn Ocuzio. Thank you very much, guys, for becoming patrons. If you want to become a patron yourself, link in the description. It will really help me out making new videos and sharing lots more of what I've learned over the previous 20, 23, 24 odd years as a professional jeweler. So cool, let's get into it. So back at the bench, here's my aluminium tube, 1 centimetre square, 1 metre long, very cheap, very light. It's good material for making stuff that needs to be light. Yeah, and I bought this off Amazon, so this is just like brazing rod stuff. I think there's just flux in there, you just get it hot and touch it on and that's it. I feel like I've been misled in the past that aluminium welding is some kind of specialist skill that takes like expensive high-tech equipment or something, or just some, I don't know, difficult to master thing. Because when I've spoken to mechanics or engineers in the past, they're always like really strong against like anything aluminium. They won't touch it, you've got to go to a special place for it. When I looked on YouTube, people are just doing it easily. You just get it hot and touch it on there. That seems to be it. So I'm kind of interested to try it out. And if you're like me, you work in a certain metal, you kind of end up interested in all metals. I want to know how different it is compared to what I'm used to. So this video might be interesting to jewelers or people who might have an aluminium job they're doing for the first time. And just like me, did a bit of research on YouTube, see what's up. So yeah, I'm just going to cut a bit off and try a quick weld on it, quick solder, and then I'll learn everything I need to know, have the experience to go ahead and start doing things neatly when I'm making the thing that I've got in mind I want to make. Right, just chop a bit off and get on with it. Yeah, so my only experience is like silver, gold and platinum, like nothing else really, apart from like the steel that my tools are made of. I don't really have any experience with any other metals. So I'm going to be testing these tools I'm using are specific for making jewellery, so I'm interested to see how they work. I imagine I can cut through this quite easy. Yeah, it cuts really easy. It's not as soft as I thought it was going to be, but no problem at all getting through it. I think I have filed aluminium before from cutting bits off my motorbikes I've owned. Feels sort of dry somehow, like a bit scratchy. Like gold has a sort of more silky resistance on the saw blade. So what I decided I'm going to do is I'm just going to work on it like it's a piece of jewellery. I'll tell you what, it's very slippery on the buff sticks. Really, the surface comes off quick, but it's weird to feel. So I'll just join that to that just to get the experience. I kind of know from experience like how hot the metal will be compared to the same stage in silver. I'm expecting it to look a different colour. I don't really know about its melting temperature, so I'm going very steady. What's that? What's going on? It's sliding about. Why are you doing that, mate? Right, that's starting to melt really, really easily. And unfortunately, this decided to slide about. Right, I don't care if it says no flux. I need flux on there to stick it together. I'm putting a bit of flux on that. Can't have it dancing about. Now is not the time for dancing, mate. I mean, that is staying trying to flux it. That's staying really hot compared to a piece of silver. Especially a tube, silver would have cooled down quite quickly. Look how hot that is, it's been ages. What I'll do is I'll bend it, like I just said, I'll bend it about a bit and I'll try and melt it. I'll just learn everything I need to learn to work on it. Because I would actually like to make something with it quite skillfully if possible. And it's quite good actually, if it actually works as something you can work with. It gives beginners an opportunity to get a metal that doesn't cost anything to practice doing stuff with. If you can bend it about, solder it, file it, like why the hell not? Right, okay, so that's stuck down now. Where's my... Let's get this back. This just started to sweat and melt, so I'm expecting this to go quite quickly. Corners of the Zippo are a bit sharp, to be honest. I might round them off a bit more. I didn't expect that. Right. So that was interesting. Just keep going. Right, I'm not having much luck with this brazing rod. Maybe it's meant for like big solid chunks. It still ain't melted. Alright. Okay. I'm sort of wondering whether that stuff's not going to work. I mean, that's still melting, look. It hasn't flooded on. That's weird, isn't it? Oh, it didn't flood in there. I mean, look at that. See what I mean about it stays hot? I mean, it's staying molten. I've never seen nothing like it. Proper weird metal. What's going on? Look at this. Tell you what, I know a lot of cars are made out of aluminium now because it's light and kind of strong. I do worry about the parts of cars that get really hot over time. Look how it just crumbles. What a strange metal. I just cut off a couple of little lengths, filing the ends. Tell you what, it's quite nice to file. Feels not too dissimilar to platinum. I wanted to file across the side, and I'm noticing there might actually be a bit of plating, some sort of finishing around the outside. So I'm going to try again. Yeah, that feels really slippery, yeah? You know, remember I said I cannot speak. Do you remember I said it felt slippery on my buff stick? Because I was sliding across that coating. I just felt it then on the file, but the file gets through it and then grips. There's definitely something on the outside of this. Again, I'm fluxing it so it doesn't all dance around. Put that on. What are you doing? Why aren't you flooding? I can see this side, that coating is starting to bubble up. I imagine as the temperature rises, it becomes more brittle. It's a characteristic, what they say, Argentinium, whatever it's called, Argentium silver does. You can't put pressure on it when it's hot. It just falls apart. Seems to be a bit similar to this. Bastard won't cool down. That's still too hot to touch. It's been about 2 minutes. Right, so I'll leave that down. I'm gonna find my lead solder, see if I can join it with lead solder. Solder, €1.45. This is from Spain. I'm a nerd, yeah, because I'm sort of in this trade of like using tools and understanding stuff and how things are made and that. I like going in hardware stores when I go to countries for the first time. There was a few years while living in London, I was going to new countries all the time just for experience and having holidays. Quite often just short little 4-day trips here and there. It's quite cheap when you live in London, it's a good base for travelling around Europe. Yeah, hardware stores and like antique shops, you really, not necessarily learn a lot, but you will really feel big differences between cultures and other countries compared to one where you're from, if you go in those kind of shops. Spanish hardware stores are great because they are masters at tiling, and their exterior paints are amazing, like the kind of plasticky, you've got to add water, stir it up, but it's a real sort of plasticky coat when you put it on there, on the paint, and it dries. And the whites are really white, so there's some like quality stuff in Spain. Also just their culture of like olive trees and like using donkeys for working and stuff, you go out in the countryside. There's just fun, different stuff in their hardware store, so yeah, I recommend going to the hardware shops, and you never know, you might buy a little tool, might help you out, a little star-shaped key or something is going to help you mark out 6 claws for a collet. I don't know, I look out for that kind of stuff, it's especially fun in different countries. Japan doesn't disappoint, there's really good hardware stores here. I'll just take the camera out and show you what goes on. Right, so I'm gonna try again and then try lead solder, because it might be a chance I just get this hot and lead solder just floods in before I get all this, like, what's that called, reticulation, whatever it's called, with the surface bubbles. This is getting a bit too hot to get that stuff to flood. I mean, it didn't flood, I had to poke it down. Just found out a new problem with aluminium. When you file quite hard, little bits stick to your file, and then you drag them across, and they actually score deep marks in the aluminium. So you're trying to file nicely, and you're just scoring big lines in there. Yeah, aluminium's not working at all for jewellery. So that's a nice metal for beginners out of the question, but it would be nice if I can just get some joins going strong and then be able to file over them neatly and hide them, because then I can continue with my artwork I've got in mind. But it's looking like I won't be able to do it. So maybe aluminium is a bit of a specialist skill, after all. So let's try this lead solder, Española. Certainly hot enough to melt that solder. But does that solder want to become friends with aluminium? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, aluminium's horrible. No wonder no one wants to touch it. I'll have to double check those videos I saw. I saw 2 videos. The guys were just getting it hot and was touching this stuff on, and it was all melted in lovely. Perhaps there's a special flux for it, I don't know, but the stuff I bought said you don't need it.
12 seconds later.
Whatever this bit of square tube is made of, nothing wants to join it. Right, so I was just searching online. I found a few videos and read a few things on forums and stuff. You should be able to solder aluminium, but it does appear that the stuff you buy from hardware stores and even things like from shops that are made out of aluminium, they are got different levels of like additives in. The way this melted looked just like a video I just saw. A guy was like trying to do casting, aluminium casting, and he had this like picture frame, he was trying to melt it down, and it was just crumbling apart, just like this did, and he couldn't get it to melt together. So there is an issue with some of this aluminium stuff we buy. It might be just a cheap version of aluminium. There's a lot of extra horrible stuff put into it. So this might not work at all. Also, on the forums, on like proper specialist aluminium welding sites, they were talking about proper flux you've got to use. Yeah, it doesn't really need to get that hot, only 300C, which is like nothing compared to what I'm used to. But you've got to have proper flux. So I might have a problem with that. I might have a problem with this, I think I have. And yeah, that's why it's not working for me. So I'm going to do a bit more research. I might try and buy some proper flux and then try again with this at least. But yeah, it's a shame because I need a square section bit of rod. I need to be able to like bend it 90-degree angles and join it nicely and be able to hide those joins. So yeah, I want to find a way to use that. But I can get this in steel. If I've got to work in steel, I will. But just start working in steel takes away my ability to file things nicely. You can do it if I start really wearing out my tools. Yeah, so I'm gonna leave the video there. I thought I'd learn everything I need to know. I don't. I've still got loads of questions because I'm not entirely sure what's up with all the stuff I'm using. So anyway, I'll leave the video there. Thanks for watching. I hope it was interesting. I hope you learned something. All I learned was this ain't good enough, what I've got. Anyway, cool. Right, if you like the video, click like and subscribe and all that, and then just see you on the next upload. See you later. Bye.